Can money buy happiness? Would you be happier if you won the lottery tomorrow? Or is there something more important than money when it comes to living a happy life?
These are questions everyone asks, and today we're going to explore the fascinating relationship between money and happiness while helping you improve your English listening skills.
This conversation might change the way you think about money, success, and what really matters in life.
So stay with us because this is going to be an eye-opening lesson that combines English learning with life wisdom. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Fluent English Talk. I'm Lisa.
And I'm Alex. It's so great to have you here with us today. If you're new to our channel, welcome. You've just joined a community of learners who want to speak English naturally and confidently.
And if you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. We really appreciate your support.
Today's topic is both interesting and important. We're going to talk about money and happiness. This is something people discuss all the time, so you'll learn vocabulary and expressions that are super useful in real conversations.
We'll explore questions like, does money make people happy? How much money do you really need? What's more important than money? And we'll do all of this while practicing English together.
You'll learn natural expressions, conversational phrases, and vocabulary that native speakers use when discussing money, happiness, values, and life priorities.
By the end of this video, you'll be able to express your opinions about money and happiness confidently in English.
But before we dive in, if you're excited to learn English through meaningful conversations, please hit that like button right now. It really helps us continue creating free content for you.
And don't forget to subscribe to Fluent English Talk and turn on the notification bell. We post new practical English lessons every week on topics that matter to your life.
All right, let's get started with this fascinating topic.
Before we dive into the deep conversation, let's learn some essential vocabulary about money and happiness.
Great idea. First, let's talk about words related to money. We have wealth. Wealth means having a lot of money or valuable possessions.
For example, he accumulated great wealth through his business. Wealth doesn't guarantee happiness. She comes from a family of wealth.
We also have wealthy as an adjective, which means rich or having a lot of money.
For example, they're a wealthy family. She married a wealthy businessman. Wealthy people often have different concerns than others.
Another important word is income. Income means the money you receive regularly, usually from work.
For example, my monthly income covers all my expenses. She has a stable income from her job. What's your annual income?
We also talk about financial security. This phrase means having enough money to feel safe and not worry about the future.
For example, financial security is important for peace of mind. He works hard to achieve financial security for his family. I prioritize financial security over luxury.
Now let's talk about happiness words. We have fulfillment. Fulfillment means feeling satisfied and happy because you're doing something meaningful.
For example, she finds fulfillment in helping others. Money can't give you true fulfillment. I'm searching for fulfillment in my career.
We also have contentment. Contentment means being happy and satisfied with what you have.
For example, he lives in contentment with a simple life. Contentment is more valuable than wealth. She found contentment after years of chasing success.
Another important phrase is peace of mind. This means feeling calm and not worried about things.
For example, having savings gives me peace of mind. She values peace of mind over a high-paying, stressful job. Money can buy you some peace of mind, but not complete happiness.
Let's review these key words: wealth, wealthy, income, financial security, fulfillment, contentment, peace of mind.
Perfect. Now let's start a real conversation about money and happiness.
Let's listen to a conversation between two friends discussing whether money can buy happiness. Lisa will be Sarah, and I'll be Michael.
Michael, I've been thinking about something lately. Do you think money can buy happiness?
That's a deep question, Sarah. I think it's complicated. Money definitely makes life easier, but I don't think it guarantees happiness.
I agree that it's complicated. I mean, when I'm struggling to pay my bills, I definitely feel stressed. Having enough money would eliminate that stress.
Exactly. So in that sense, money can reduce unhappiness, but that's different from creating true happiness, don't you think?
True. I guess there's a difference between not being unhappy and actually being happy. What do you think creates real happiness then?
Well, from what I've read and experienced, things like meaningful relationships, doing work you love, having purpose, good health, these seem to matter more than money.
That makes sense. But here's my question. Don't you need money to achieve those things too? Like, if you're working 3 jobs just to survive, you don't have time for relationships or pursuing your passions.
You're absolutely right. That's why I think there's a threshold. Up to a certain point, money is crucial for happiness because it meets your basic needs and gives you freedom.
A threshold? What do you mean?
It means there's a level where money stops making a significant difference to your happiness. Studies show that once you earn enough to live comfortably, additional money doesn't increase happiness much.
Oh, interesting. So earning 50,000 versus 20,000 might make a big difference, but earning 1 million versus 500,000 might not.
Exactly. Once your basic needs are met and you have some security, more money brings diminishing returns in terms of happiness.
Diminishing returns, that's a great phrase. So what really matters once you reach that threshold?
That's when things like relationships, health, personal growth, and contributing to others become more important for happiness.
I never thought about it that way. This is really eye-opening.
Right? It makes you reconsider what you're chasing in life.
Okay, let's break down this conversation. There were so many useful expressions and phrases.
First, I said, that's a deep question. Deep here means profound or meaningful, not superficial.
For example, we had a deep conversation about life. That's a deep topic. I need to think about it. She asked some deep questions about my values.
I also said, money doesn't guarantee happiness. Guarantee means to make certain or promise that something will happen.
For example, hard work doesn't guarantee success, but it increases your chances. Money can't guarantee good health. This investment doesn't guarantee returns.
Sarah said, having enough money would eliminate that stress. Eliminate means to completely remove or get rid of something.
For example, exercise helps eliminate stress. We need to eliminate unnecessary expenses. Meditation can help eliminate negative thoughts.
I made an important distinction. Money can reduce unhappiness, but that's different from creating true happiness.
This is such an important point. There's a difference between reducing unhappiness, making problems go away, and creating happiness, building positive experiences.
I also mentioned a threshold. A threshold is a level or point where something changes or begins.
For example, there's a threshold of pain everyone has. Once you cross the income threshold, taxes increase. She has a low threshold for stress.
And I used the phrase diminishing returns. This means that as you get more of something, each additional amount gives you less benefit.
For example, studying has diminishing returns. After 5 hours, you learn less effectively. Eating has diminishing returns. The 10th cookie isn't as enjoyable as the first. More money gives diminishing returns on happiness after a certain point.
Sarah said, this is really eye-opening. Eye-opening means surprising and making you see things differently.
For example, that documentary was eye-opening. Traveling to different countries is eye-opening. Reading that book was an eye-opening experience.
Now let's practice. Try answering this question out loud. Do you think money can buy happiness? Give your opinion.
Great. Maybe you said something like, I think money helps, but it's not everything. Money can buy comfort, but not happiness. I believe happiness comes from relationships, not money.
Excellent. Now let's explore this topic even deeper.
Let's talk about what money can buy and what it cannot buy. This will help you express nuanced opinions in English.
Great idea. Let's start with what money can buy or provide.
Money can buy comfort. Comfort means physical ease and not having to struggle.
For example, money can buy a comfortable home. Having money provides comfort and convenience. She enjoys the comfort that money brings.
Money can provide opportunities. Opportunities are chances to do or experience something.
For example, money gives you opportunities to travel and learn. Wealth opens up opportunities for your children. Financial resources create opportunities that others don't have.
Money can buy experiences. Experiences are things you do and remember.
For example, they spend money on experiences rather than things. Travel experiences create lasting memories. Money can buy amazing experiences.
Money can provide security and stability. These mean feeling safe and having consistency in your life.
For example, money provides financial security for emergencies. Having savings gives you stability and peace of mind. Economic security reduces stress significantly.
Now let's talk about what money cannot buy.
Money cannot buy genuine relationships. Genuine means real and sincere, not fake.
For example, money can't buy true friendship. Genuine love isn't about wealth. Real connections aren't based on money.
Money cannot buy health completely. You can afford good health care, but you can't guarantee perfect health.
For example, money can't prevent all illnesses. Health is wealth. You can't buy it at any price. No amount of money can cure certain diseases.
Money cannot buy time. You can't buy more hours in a day or more years of life.
For example, time is more valuable than money. You can't buy it back. Money can't give you more time with loved ones. We're all given the same 24 hours regardless of wealth.
Money cannot buy inner peace or self-worth. These come from within yourself.
For example, inner peace comes from acceptance, not from wealth. Self-worth isn't determined by your bank account. She found peace when she stopped chasing money.
Money cannot buy purpose or meaning in life.
For example, meaning comes from contribution, not from accumulation. She felt empty despite her wealth because she lacked purpose. Money can't answer the question, why am I here?
Let's practice. Complete this sentence out loud. Money can buy, but it cannot buy.
Excellent. Maybe you said, money can buy comfort, but it cannot buy happiness. Money can buy education, but it cannot buy wisdom. Money can buy a house, but it cannot buy a home. Perfect.
These contrasts show deep thinking in English.
Now let's learn how to express different opinions about money and happiness in English.
Great! Let's start with phrases to express your belief or opinion.
You can say, I believe that, in my opinion, from my perspective, the way I see it, I tend to think that.
For example, I believe that happiness comes from relationships, not money. In my opinion, financial security is important for peace of mind. From my perspective, we need enough money to meet basic needs. The way I see it, money is a tool, not a goal.
You can also express agreement with others using these phrases. I completely agree with that. That's exactly what I think. I'm with you on that one. you took the words right out of my mouth. I couldn't agree more.
For example, money can't buy love. I completely agree with that. We need balance between earning and living. That's exactly what I think.
To express partial agreement, you can say, I agree to some extent, but that's true up to a point, but I see your point, however. You're partially right, but
For example, I agree to some extent, but money does reduce stress. That's true up to a point, but wealth can create new problems. I see your point, however, everyone's situation is different.
to express disagreement politely, use I respectfully disagree. I see it differently. I'm not sure I agree with that. That's an interesting perspective, but I think
For example, I respectfully disagree. I think money matters more than you suggest. I see it differently. Financial freedom is crucial for happiness. I'm not sure I agree that money can't buy happiness at all.
to express uncertainty or mixed feelings, say, I'm torn between. I have mixed feelings about this. It's hard to say. I'm not entirely sure, but
For example, I'm torn between pursuing wealth and pursuing passion. I have mixed feelings about this. Money helps, but it's not everything. It's hard to say whether money makes people happier.
let's practice. Think about this question. Should people prioritize making money over doing what they love? Share your opinion out loud using one of these phrases.
Great. Maybe you said, I believe that people should follow their passion. Or, from my perspective, you need a balance between both. Or, I'm torn between financial security and personal fulfillment.
Excellent. You're expressing complex ideas in English now.
Let's listen to another conversation where two friends discuss their priorities in life. This will show you how to use all these expressions naturally.
Lisa, I have a big decision to make, and I'd love your input.
Wow, that's a tough choice. What's your gut feeling?
Honestly, my gut says to take the lower paying job, but everyone around me thinks I'm crazy to turn down the higher salary.
I understand that pressure, but here's what I think. You need to consider what matters most to you in the long run.
What do you mean by in the long run?
I mean, think about 5 or 10 years from now. Will you regret not spending time with your family, or will you regret not earning more money?
When you put it that way, I think I'd regret missing out on time with my loved ones more than missing out on extra income.
There's your answer. Remember, you can always earn more money later, but you can't get back time.
That's so true, but I worry about financial security. What if I need that extra money for emergencies?
That's a valid concern, but from what you've told me, the lower paying job still covers your needs, right? It's just not as much as the other one.
Yes, it's enough to live comfortably and save a little. It's not extravagant, but it's sufficient.
Then I think you have your answer. Sufficient income plus happiness and balance is better than excess income plus stress and burnout.
Burnout, yes, that's what I'm afraid of with the high-paying job. I've heard the work environment is intense.
Exactly. And here's another way to think about it. Money is a means to an end, not the end itself. What's the point of making money if you're too stressed to enjoy life?
That really resonates with me. You're right, money is just a tool to build the life I want, not the life itself.
I'm glad this is helping. Whatever you decide, make sure it aligns with your values, not other people's expectations.
Thank you so much, Alex. This conversation really clarified things for me. Let's break down this conversation. It was full of useful expressions for discussing important life decisions.
Sarah said, I'd love your input. Input means opinions, advice, or suggestions from someone.
For example, can I get your input on this matter? I value your input when making decisions. We need input from everyone before deciding.
I asked, what's your gut feeling? Gut feeling means your instinctive feeling or intuition, not logical thinking.
For example, my gut feeling says this is the right choice. Trust your gut feeling when making decisions. What does your gut tell you about this person?
I said, in the long run. This phrase means over a long period of time, considering the future.
For example, this investment will pay off in the long run. In the long run, health is more important than wealth. Education benefits you in the long run.
I said, that's a valid concern. Valid means reasonable, acceptable, or based on good reasoning.
For example, that's a valid point. I hadn't considered it. Your concerns are valid and understandable. She raised several valid questions.
I use the word sufficient. Sufficient means enough or adequate for a purpose.
For example, this salary is sufficient for my needs. We have sufficient time to complete the project. Is this information sufficient, or do you need more?
I mentioned burnout. Burnout means extreme physical or emotional exhaustion from stress or overwork.
For example, many healthcare workers experience burnout. She took a break to recover from burnout. Preventing burnout is important for long-term success.
I said, money is a means to an end, not the end itself. A means to an end is a phrase meaning something you use to achieve a goal, not the goal itself.
For example, education is a means to an end, getting a good career. For me, work is a means to an end, not my life's purpose. Don't forget that money is just a means to an end.
Sarah said, that really resonates with me. Resonates means something deeply connects with you or feels true to you.
For example, his words really resonated with me. That message resonates with many people. Her story resonates because it's so relatable.
I said, make sure it aligns with your values. Align with means to match or agree with something.
For example, my career should align with my personal values. This decision doesn't align with what I believe. Choose opportunities that align with your goals.
All right, now let's practice. Imagine someone asks you, what's more important to you, earning a lot of money or having work-life balance? Answer out loud.
Wonderful. Maybe you said, I think work-life balance is more important in the long run. For me, earning enough to live comfortably is sufficient. I believe happiness comes from balance, not just money.
Perfect. You're using sophisticated English to express your values.
Wow, we've covered so much today. Let's do a quick recap of everything we learned.
First, we learned vocabulary about money and happiness, wealth, wealthy, income, financial security, fulfillment, contentment, peace of mind, threshold, diminishing returns.
We discussed what money can buy: comfort, opportunities, experiences, security, stability.
And what money cannot buy: genuine relationships, complete health, time, inner peace, self-worth, purpose, meaning.
We learned phrases to express opinions. I believe that, in my opinion, from my perspective, the way I see it.
We learned phrases to show agreement. I completely agree. I'm with you on that. You're absolutely right.
We learned phrases for partial agreement or disagreement. I agree to some extent, but I respectfully disagree. I see it differently.
We learned useful life phrases: gut feeling, in the long run, valid concern, sufficient, burnout, a means to an end, resonate with, align with.
The main message: money matters, but it's not everything. True happiness comes from a balance of financial security, relationships, health, purpose, and peace of mind.
And remember, everyone's threshold is different. Find what's sufficient for you and focus on what truly brings fulfillment.
All right, everyone, we've reached the end of today's lesson. We hope this conversation made you think about what really matters in life while improving your English.
Remember, the best conversations in English happen when you discuss meaningful topics like this. Don't just memorize phrases. Understand the ideas and express your own opinions.
Before you go, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Write in the comments, what do you think is the truth about money and happiness? Do you think money can buy happiness?
And tell us, what matters most to you in life? Money, relationships, health, purpose? We read every comment and love hearing your perspectives.
If this video helped you learn English and think about life differently, please give it a big thumbs up. It helps us reach more learners around the world.
And if you haven't already, subscribe to Fluent English Talk and turn on the notification bell. We post new English lessons every week on meaningful topics that matter to your life.
Thank you so much for learning with us today. Remember, true wealth isn't just in your bank account. It's in your relationships, experiences, and peace of mind.
Keep learning, keep growing, and keep having meaningful conversations in English.
See you in the next video. Take care.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.